Hello everyone, and welcome to my sort of end of year update video. This is just sort of how the channel's grown over the years and over the year I should say, and sort of some of my plans for next year. Also going to be a little bit more information regarding stuff at the end of this year, beginning of next year. As I mentioned in that update video I did last week due to the lack of videos for the past couple of weeks before that. First of all, thank you for the comments I got on that. It's a lot of, you're here for the content. Even if you don't get it every week, you still really enjoy it. Thankfully, it took a load off that people aren't sitting there going, well, why isn't he uploading? I'll leave then. I also had some great tips about moving, which I'll keep in mind and I'll definitely try and do. Thank you for that, whoever left the comment. Unfortunately, I'm really bad with remembering screen names. So we'll begin, shall we, with just how the channel's grown, and you'll see just if you've come along recently in the last year, just how much we've grown in just 12 months time, under 12 months really. No, actually no, probably this is about the time last year I did the video, looking at the notes I've got on the screen. Now, I'm not going to go through every single thing. There's just a couple of milestones I made, sort of noted, because they were more sort of personal to me than sort of your general. I broke 1,000 subscribers, which I didn't record for some reason. I think after I've got to about 1,000, and then it just went for a little bit, and it's calmed down now, which is nice, and keep a track of a few more things. But yeah, it's been good. So as I say, I think around this time last year, I think maybe at the most 30 subscribers, and it was on the 7th of February that I reached the grand total of 64. Which you might, that's a strange number to think of. It stuck in my head because that is how many students were in my primary school. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. When I was there, that is the number of people who now want to hear my content. It was only about a month after that. It was the 29th of March when we hit 100, which was quite a good milestone. And the sort of next one I recorded, which would be on the 1st of July, was about 660. Which again is a number that stuck in my head because that's how many students were in my high school. So again, it sort of sticks with you. And then after that, I stopped recording how many it was, and the channel exploded for a couple of months. But we currently stand on 7,316 subscribers. Welcome, one and all. I'm so glad you're enjoying what I've said several times is a very niche channel idea. Rather than doing all over. And come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever said, other than living here, why I chose to I'm just doing Norfolk and Suffolk. If you're within the UK, you may have noticed this. If you're one of my international viewers, bear with me for a moment. This may make sense to you, it may not if you live in a part of your country that's sort of often off to the side. All these programmes you see on, regardless of the channel, it doesn't really matter, BBC, Channel 5, Channel 4, there seem to be two places. Well, three, but they count one of them as they count two of them as one. Three places that you can guarantee almost every program is made about, whether it's about travel, history, whatever. You've got someone in Yorkshire going around Yorkshire, great place, very nice. Someone going around Devon and Cornwall. Just think about that for a moment, and you'll see what I mean. The amount of shows which are Railways of Cornwall, Railways of Devon, so and so in Devon and Cornwall, so and so in Yorkshire. And I was like, well, hang on, we've got history, and it never gets mentioned. Even if you remember Coast that was on a few years ago, the amount of times you'd see them, coming down. Oh, next week will be Norfolk and Suffolk, and they'll do Norfolk, and it'll be blah 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 Nelson, and then we're going to Essex. Okay, right, fine. We'll find our own history then. So that is actually been the driving force behind the channel of, because some of these history I knew, some I didn't. It's really got me into looking at a lot more and sort of stopping and looking at, plaques and monuments I probably may have just glanced at before. And a recent one I saw of one in Norwich. I don't know if I took a picture of it. Hopefully I did, and I'll try and edit it in after I finish speaking about this point. But it was so bizarre because it just starts out as like a normal plaque of, I think he was a mayor or a sheriff of the city, and at the end he was killed by a fox. I think if I was ever enough to make a blue plaque, and that was how I died. I don't want it to be recorded death by fox. If I've got a picture of that, actually, I will have a picture of that. I will make sure I take a picture of that. It will be coming in here in a moment. And so our next sort of part will be sort of what's going to happen the end of this year, beginning of next year. All still very much up in the air at the moment, unfortunately, but sort of what I'm planning to do. So this video and the shorter presentation I've made of what I found on the Suffolk coast will be going up probably fairly close to each other. So they'll be out. They are going to be sort of it for content for this year. As I said, that loads of work I had a couple of weeks ago, I'm sort of past it now, but it's one of those things of you've missed your step and now you're trying to catch up with where you were. So I'm going to sort of step back from making content for a couple of weeks. Still going to be writing, and hopefully that can get me caught up a little bit for when the next time comes round. We're when New Year comes around, I'll have hopefully 3 or 4 presentations written and ready to record. This brings us on to the moving house, which I'm going to do. Everything is settled. We are now waiting on the date. Annoyingly, I thought it was going to be in about 3-4 days' time. That's now not going to be true. It's going to be closer to the end of the month now, I believe, if not even into the new year. That's going to throw things. As soon as I've got a date, I'm going to try and get the the broadband and that booked. So hopefully, I'm not going to have that waiting period. You can end up with that sort of screws you a little bit. But once that's in, that's going to free up a lot of time, so I'm not travelling to and from work as much. It will be within walking distance. And also, not living with other people, then I can record whenever I need to, basically, which is, again, going to help presentations and hopefully will give me more time to sort of expand what I want to do, which is a plan for the channel next year. Obviously, the history presentations are going to stay the same. I just may start doing some as I say, I don't know if I've said it before, but I've got a little collection of various things I've picked up over the years. I might do some videos on sort of here's what this is, but I don't. In that field, I worry about treading on other people's toes. Basically, there are some people who that is their YouTube channel. They know far more about that object than I ever will. But I may do some sort of cursory glance, sort of here's what this is, very vaguely, or maybe I'll start doing some sort of reviews of museums and various places I go to. To be fair, I don't think I've ever been to what I'd consider a bad museum, but some are obviously better than others. Yeah, so that'll be it. That's all I'm saying for that one is hopefully I can try and hit the ground running next year. But once the move begins, I might need a little bit of time just to sort of get settled in, which is obviously needed. What else? And this one here is sort of another thank you to sort of my audience and generally people. As I said before, I'm really terrible with screen names. There is definitely some of you that I see in almost every video, and it's really nice to sort of interact and hear what you thought and your feedback on what the situation was. It's always really nice, and you always seem to be really nice, sort of well-rounded people. And YouTube comments get a bad rap, and it doesn't seem to have hit mine yet particularly. Slightly, I will go into that in a moment. But yeah, and I also have seen a few of you just sort of I don't interact with people who are going to be complete morons about things, but the amount of times I've seen someone leave a stupid comment and sort of someone's replied, let's see what this is, and it's one of the people I see a lot, actually just telling them to shut up. It's just quite nice, sort of that's probably what I would have said to them, but no, I don't have to. Um, yeah, there's been a few sort of things for that which you have to expect online. One was about a video I made on one of the murders in Norwich, the one at the murderers, somewhat fittingly. And I just at the end made a comment of, it's a pub you should go into if you're in the city. I didn't realise that the landlord had taken. I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong. Had taken his stance on like the vaccination debate at the moment, and there are a lot of people who were unhappy with it, and they for some reason thought a video on a murder that happened the best part of 200 years ago was the place where we vent this. This is the linchpin of this argument. This will change people's minds. And generally, I just ignored it. There was one person that posted a link, and I just sort of said, do what you want to do, but please don't place links in my comments. And fair play to the guy, he removed it. So nothing there. The other one I'm seeing is rather fittingly, of all my videos that I've made over the last, pretty much, since, was it June, July 2020 I started? The one video that's blown up is the one I can't monetize. So it's on something like 40,000 views, and I can make nothing from it. Not that that's the point of this at all, this channel. This is just to get history out and have a bit of fun. But it was quite funny that the one video that's done really well and probably would have made a fair amount, I can get nothing off because it's all film trailers, so it's all copyright struck. Not even copyright struck, it wasn't even available to be monetized, which is perfect. And again, once you get into films, you get people coming in and either not understanding what you were trying to do or just making incredibly strange assertions of your opinions. The amount of times I saw people, because it was 10 underrated British war films. The amount of times I heard people coming and going, "Oh, you've missed X film, you've missed this film." It's like, yeah, these are like two of the most highly respected films ever made in Britain. They're not underrated, are they? Or the other good ones of films aren't history. Yeah, I know. This was a bit of fun. Or these videos are really lazy. Yep, I'm pretty sure I even said that these videos were lazy because that was the end of the year last year, and I was thinking of doing a similar one this year, but I honestly cannot be bothered to put up with them, so I'm just not going to do those anymore. I may still do the odd film review if I pick up one here and there, but I'm not going to do another list like that. It's pointless. I get nothing from it. It just brings people in from outside the channel who aren't interested in what we're doing here, and it takes up my time going through their comments, which could either be spent, interacting with you lot, you guys who are on board and like this, writing or researching. So, I'm just going to put that to the side. But I also think that another slight funny one is having two comments from two separate people, like 2 minutes apart, basically going like, well, from these films, I can tell you're incredibly right wing. And then the other one, from these films, I can tell you're incredibly left wing. Sort of, well, no. It's YouTube. Don't go looking for sense where largely it doesn't exist. And that is sort of what I mean. Thank you for the majority of you of keeping my video comment section very civil. And I think that has largely come from, just judging from interactions I've had, I think I've got a more mature audience, both in mind and generally in age. I think I'm probably much older than me, quite a lot of people who are here, sort of at least 10 years older sort of thing, which I think is good. And it does keep the channel grounded. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to go through for this video. I think that is probably it, but I can always edit something in if more comes up. So if I'm suddenly here in a couple of moments wearing a different t-shirt on a different day, that will be why. But I'll just finish it off with a huge thank you to everyone who is watching and continuing to watch, interacting, commenting. You're making this channel a really nice place. Anyone who's watching but doesn't comment, I'd say drop a comment in. We're all, as I was saying, we seem to be a fairly nice, well-rounded channel here. I'm someone who watches a lot of videos and doesn't comment particularly, and it's fine. Nothing really comes of it most of the time. Hope you all have a really good end to your year. Hope 2022 goes a little bit better than we've been experiencing, but who knows? Not the place to say particularly. So I'll see you all in the new year with a new video. And once, what I've said again, once I'm in the flat, things will be much more streamlined. And I do occasionally want to do sort of live streams just to sort of do something like this, but where I can actually interact with you live, rather than uploading this, receiving a comment, then writing it back, and you can't read the context on text. So we'll, hopefully we can do something like that. I'm not going to do them a lot. Might do one a month, one every couple of months, sort of see how days are and things. So we'll leave it at that. So I hope you've all had a good end to your year. Hope you all have a good Christmas or whatever it is around this time of year you may or may not celebrate. Um, and I'll see you all in the new year. So once again, thank you from wherever you are. If you're local or you're international, it all means a real lot that you're watching this and growing this channel drastically. And to say, I'm on just over 7,000 subscribers at the moment, and to be fair, my end goal with this channel was 1,000 subscribers. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and let's set a moderate goal, and let's say end of next year, let's hope to have 10,000. I don't think that's too ambitious, but I really don't think it's too selling myself short. So yeah, have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you in the new year.